Hello and welcome to Kettle and Bones, where we make really delicious, really healthy food. And you can too. Today we're making a terrifically tasty side item that goes really well with almost anything. It's also one of those dishes that once you have the basic foundation down, you can season it to fit seamlessly into just about any cultural flavor palette. But we're also making something else today. Something much, much more important. I'm making amends. For you see, I have wronged you. A few weeks ago, we were making cloudbread together, mixing, baking, laughing, not a care in the world. Remember? When our cloudbread was done, I opened your eyes to some of the wondrous possibilities that now lay ahead. Sandwiches. For those of us who have chosen to eat low carb, this was a rediscovery of a whole world of potential meals and snacks. I showed you burgers. I showed you ham and turkey. We saw our old friend, the tender turkey meatloaf, reborn, lifted up on a cloud of bread. But then, I cruelly dangled this delicious coleslaw in front of you as a sandwich topping without ever explaining to you where it came from. And I'm sorry I did that. I'm sorry for confusing you. I'm sorry for bewildering you. I'm sorry for what I can only imagine were weeks of sleepless nights as you lay awake trying to make sense of a reality that you can no longer unknow, a reality in which coleslaw seems always to be just somehow just out of your reach. That all changes today, friends. Today, we're making fresh and crunchy coleslaw. Let's get cooking. Well, I hope you got on the internet today to watch videos of vegetables being chopped, because that's what you're gonna get. It's coleslaw, after all. At its heart, this is basically a shredded salad. And you might be thinking that coleslaw is kind of a strange food item to get excited about, excited enough to devote an entire episode to, but I think it's totally warranted. Coleslaw is a mélange of raw veggies, mainly cabbage, which is super good for you. It's good for your heart, blood pressure, digestion. It's loaded with vitamins. It's low calorie and high fiber. And the ability of cabbage to retain its crunchiness can't be beaten. There's no other dressed salad in the world that stays crunchier longer in the fridge. So make extra, because it's convenient to just have some on hand for a quick sandwich or a side to go with a hot piece of protein. Have I convinced you yet? Good, I knew you would come around. I'm sure you've noticed that I just chopped half a head each of green and red cabbage. I sliced thinly across the leaf layers to get strands of cabbage. That's what I want. You don't have to make this much at once, of course, but like I said, this is something I just want to have around at all times. In theory, I guess you could make coleslaw with only cabbage and dressing, nothing wrong with that, but there's so much more potential here to make this something really special. I'm going to add several additional veggies, starting with this carrot. I like the mild sweetness a carrot brings. I don't want big chunks though, so I'm going to shred this using a box grater. A food processor with the shredder attachment would also be fine. Next, I'm adding some cucumber, raw cucumber, also super healthy. I'm going to go with thin half-circular slices. I'm imagining eating a forkful of this, and I think that's the shape that will fit into that bite the best. The same goes for this celery. These thin half-moon shapes will get caught up in little nests of cabbage strands, helping to keep a homogeneous distribution of vegetables. Our bowl is already filled with beautiful complementary colors, but let's keep going with it. I have red, orange, and yellow mini bell peppers here that are crunchy, juicy, and just mildly sweet. I'm cutting these in half the long way and pulling out the stems and seeds. I think thin strands is the way to go with these as well. Watch your fingers now. Can we pause for a moment to just appreciate the simple beauty of these raw vegetables? Doesn't that just make you feel good on a physiological, primal, cave person kind of level? As we enjoy the scenery here, let's talk dressing. There are infinite directions in which we could take this. I mentioned at the beginning, this basic mix of veggies can now be seasoned to fit pretty much any meal. You want teriyaki slaw, Old Bay seafood slaw, chili lime slaw, or just a classic mayo-based slaw. So many flavors would work here. For me, today, I want to have a big batch of coleslaw in the fridge for sandwiches and as a ready-made side dish, so I'm going with classic, versatile flavors that are going to fit just about anything. And if I feel like sprinkling a little chili powder or paprika or sesame seeds over the top of it later, so be it. I'm starting with a little garlic, 2 cloves. Now I love garlic, but in this case, in this dish, I just want to flavor the dressing. I don't want to bite into a big raw piece, so garlic press. If you don't have a garlic press, you can shred it on a microplane or on the finest side of a box grater. And leave no garlic behind. Next, onion. Again, I want the flavor, not big pieces of raw onion, so the smaller, the better. If you want to take the time to grate or shred this, that would be good too. For my purposes, finely chopped will be, well, fine. We are also adding some chopped leaves of parsley, and then some lemon zest and juice. The brightness of the lemon will help to contrast some of the darker flavors of our other seasonings and will cut through the richness of the dressing nicely. Squeeze the lemon into a cheesecloth or just use a press or juicer and you won't have to remove lemon seeds from your bowl like this. Lesson learned. Since we're making a more or less classic coleslaw dressing, that calls for pickle relish. I'm using a sweet pickle relish that does add a bit of sugar. This one is sweetened with cane sugar, but for the roughly 2 or 3 tablespoons I'm adding, we're talking about 2 or 3 grams of sugars total for the whole bowl. I can live with that. Just avoid any relish containing corn syrup or other weird pseudo sugars. Ugh. Let's also add a splash of white wine vinegar for a different type of bright tanginess. Side note, if you want a zippy, mildly spicy coleslaw, remember the brine from our pickled jalapenos? You can use that instead. Next, we're adding in our favorite creamy mayo. You could definitely make your own mayo base at this point by simply putting in an egg yolk and streaming in some oil while whisking. Maybe we'll do that in a future episode. Could be fun. But today, I'm using a tasty mayo I know and trust. Per our usual approach, I'm sure by now you've noticed that we haven't measured jack squat. That's because we are feeling and tasting our way through this recipe. Don't you want it tasting just the way you like it, rather than just the way the recipe author likes it? Me too. This is off to a great start. It's very lemony and very bright. I don't want that to be the only flavor you notice. Let's darken things a bit with some nice freshly ground black pepper and enhance that by adding some salt to taste. And we're tasting again. It's good. It's pretty intense, and I can tell just by looking at the volume of vegetables we've chopped that we're going to need more dressing than we currently have here, so we can add some additional mayo. And this is excellent. Still on the bright citrusy side from the lemon, so let's go to a sauce and dressing staple, Worcestershire sauce, or however you pronounce it. This is smoky and dark while at the same time being salty and tangy. And to further promote the smokiness, I'm adding some smoked paprika. And it's... ooh, that is nice. I think it's getting close. Let's try that on a little of our shredded cabbage. Yep, that's gonna work. The consistency is a little thick and viscous for coleslaw dressing. I want to thin it out just a bit without making it watery, so to do that I'm using extra virgin olive oil. That's going to make this a bit more liquidy, but still very much maintain the nice tight emulsion of our dressing. This is going to coat our veggies brilliantly. It's going to cling to the bumps and ridges and fill all the nooks and crannies, ensuring that each bite of our finished coleslaw is consistently flavored the way we want it to be. Now our bowl of coleslaw gets dressed just like any other bowl of coleslaw, 1 dollop of dressing at a time. We are dressing this by pouring the dressing over our veggies a little bit at a time and then using tongs, gently turning them in the bowl. Do be gentle. We don't want to crush and mangle our softer ingredients, our cucumber slices, for example. And that is looking nice. I can tell just by looking at it that pretty much every piece is going to have the flavor of our dressing. Time for some quick cleanup, and let's get this on the plate. Remember, this is great on a cloudbread sandwich. It makes sandwich assembly quick and easy. Ditto low-carb wraps. It's also fantastic just sitting on a plate next to your favorite protein or other main entree item. Oh, I don't know, maybe a juicy, delicious roast pork loin? Oh no, I've done it again, haven't I? Well, later on, we'll definitely be making this and many other delicious things that this coleslaw is excellent next to. I will try not to leave you hanging for too long this time. We are, after all, building a repertoire of healthy dishes, hopefully ooh, look at that, sesame seeds. As you've been following along this season, your refrigerator is gradually being populated with some basic building blocks of delicious, healthy food. This coleslaw, for a long list of reasons, should absolutely have a place in your regular rotation. Thank you for joining me as I've worked to right this injustice, and stay with Kettle and Bones for more simple, tasty, and highly healthy low-carb refrigerator staples that will make it quick and easy to serve and eat nutritious meals. But for now, just enjoy your fresh and crunchy coleslaw.